episode 47 to be exact. And it's your host, Gina Versa. I'm glad to be back. I'm, uh, bringing the show back with MCU. We're talking Fantastic Four, First Steps. It's a spoiler pack episode, so you should probably have already seen it. But if you didn't, go see it. But with me today are some good friends of mine. To believe it should be on my left, but hopefully this is how this SoundCloud is. My friend, I just hung out with him all throughout Comic Con. Tyler, how you doing?
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Good, good. Good to have you on for the first time on the show.
Oh, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, and then I also have James Poole. How you doing, James?
Good, good. Once again, happy to be back on the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this is Tyler's first time. But yeah, I'll have you guys both do this. But Tyler, you go first. Just say a little bit about yourself, if anyone. For well, this is your first time, so yeah.
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 Yeah, I'm Tyler. I'm a film critic, fellow film critic on Twitter. I contribute to Discussing Film pretty often, so if you see me on there, my reviews are on there. But I freelance. I'm a freelancer, so I pitch to other places too. So various places sometimes. Um, James and I just met very recently
Oh,
too. So yeah,
and IR
at CinemaCon. So
in person.
it's a little good reunion over here. So yeah.
Hmm.
It's
But
been a
yeah,
long time
you'll
coming.
find my work.
Yeah. No, you have some great articles, great writing. I like your takes too.
Thank you.
Yeah, we were doing some hot Spider-Man takes in college times. It was fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I love this gentleman's takes as well. Got some awesome writing too. James, if this is someone's first time listening, tell them about yourself.
Sure. Hi, I'm James Preston Poole. Pretty much same story as Tyler here. Film critic. I write for Discussing Film and the website But Why Though. Those are kind of my primary outlets, but you can also find a lot of my takes on Twitter. I'm still addicted, unfortunately.
Same.
And I also write a little bit for the Cosmic Circus as well. But I can say film critic, but mostly I just like talking about movies.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Movies are great. Yeah, we love movies on the show, and any
Hopefully
yeah,
most of the time.
most of the time I know. Yeah, we won't. We're not going to review certain ones. Well, it's all subjective, but just like to have fun. But this is Fantastic Four. But fa First Steps came out just last week. It's all a blur from Comic Con, so excuse me. I have slight Comic Con brain, not fully, but mostly recovered. Takes a lot out of you. But before we go into the movie, we're gonna talk a little bit about the history of these characters, which is 60 something years. That's crazy. So
Oh wow.
yeah, yeah. It's like you may remember them from such movies as Fantastic Four Stick, like the background for James if you're watching on YouTube, or the 2005 Fantastic Four, which is okay. Or if you're feeling dangerous enough, the Roger Corman Fantastic Four, which is surprisingly the best version of Doctor Doom so far.
Agreed.
But
There's
mhm.
a funny story about that Robert Corman one. My local comic shop, they just have like mountains of VHSs, which is someone who recently got a CRT TV with a little VCR attachment. I was like, okay, I need to build my collection out. Just somewhere amongst the pile, they had this crazy, weird looking VHS. I look at it for $2, the Roger Corman film, just printed
What?
on a
Oh
VHS.
no.
Um,
That's crazy.
so so yeah, I finally dusted that off and watched that the other night. And
Damn.
yeah, Doctor Doom's good.
Hmm.
That's about all I can
Yeah.
say about that.
That's
Dr.
on my
Doom is
list, so
yeah,
I should get to that too. Yeah.
yeah. The guy who plays Mr. Fantastic, George Clooney's cousin. Bet you didn't know that.
Whoa.
Wow.
fun trivia. The toad works in mysterious ways. How were you all first introduced to the Fantastic Four? Was it like the cartoon or or a comic or even like one of those movies? Yeah.
Um, I would say the first time I encountered the Fantastic Four, I think on my 8th birthday, a friend got me one of those collections of Spider-Man comics, and if you're reading early Spider-Man, it's pretty hard to avoid the Fantastic Four. You know, they're on
Mhm.
the cover of the first issue of The Amazing Spider-Man. So that's kind of how I was introduced. But the thing that really kind of the thing, no pun intended, uh,
Sure.
the thing that really got me aware of them was that huge 2005 movie that came out, which it's kind of shocking to see that it didn't make as much bank as I would have thought it did, because that summer it was unavoidable among
Yeah.
my family and friends. So that was kind of my first big exposure to the Marvel's first family.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
I
good.
have a very similar story too, because Spider-Man is my favorite hero. I'm pretty sure he's probably all ours favorite hero, but yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
he's kind of inextricable from the Fantastic Four. Like I feel like no matter what comic you're reading, you're bound to run into Mr. Incredible at some point. So Mr. Incredible, Mr. Fantastic,
Yeah.
Comic Con brain.
It's all
Um,
right. You're good.
so you're bound to run into Mr. Fantastic at some point, and yeah, so cartoons would always also like follow through with that too. I feel like um, if it wasn't if it wasn't a standalone story Spider-Man cartoon, like you would see the Fantastic Four, you'd see the other characters like that as well. Um, so that was kind of my exposure. But then yes, the 2005 movie, it felt as inescapable. And my family was all in on like comic book movies back then. So we had all the X-Men movies, we had all the Spider-Man movies, and Fantastic Four we also bought into. So I've seen that movie quite a bit. So, but not the sequel,
Yeah.
oddly. I haven't seen the sequel as many times.
Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't revisited that. The mileage may vary. Michael Chiklis was good. I think Mr. Fantastic was also good. Jessica Alba. Uh, I think Jessica Alba said that the director gave her the note of "Cry Pretty." It's the main thing I remember from one of those movies. She was like very, very understandably annoyed because I don't know, like how is that fucking direction? Because like, you're crying, but maybe we'll revisit those. Maybe not. Probably not. But yeah, I think mine is a cartoon, but specifically, I want to say so it's like the cartoon that the earliest memory I could recall is the Spider-Man 90s cartoon, which the Fantastic Four only appear in Secret Wars. They do a very condensed version of that storyline, and they never appeared in the show, but they're just there. And that's where I could consciously remember them, as well as the because they were cool. And like I love the Thing, I love Doom. Doctor Doom's my favorite Marvel villain, or at least top three. And they're in the Hanna-Barbera cartoon, which I remember watching a lot on Boomerang.
Mhm.
And then you guys may not know this because I've talked about this on the podcast before. It's a sort of obsession of mine. When I was a kid, I went to a restaurant at Universal Studios City Walk. It was called Marvel Mania, and it was a Marvel themed restaurant where it was like it's like the scene in Pulp Fictions where they go to the '50s diner and they have all the '50s characters. It was like that, but with Marvel. And they had like a Spider-Man serving you and a Wolverine and like a Thing. The Thing goes there
Well,
if
is
you
this the
if
Florida City
no,
Walk
well
or?
they had it there, but they had it in the Hollywood City Walk too.
Oh my
So
God, I
so
have no memory of this. Yeah.
yeah, it's online somewhere, but I think I went to it because it's birthday. And if you were 5 years old watching Marvel cartoons, you were high out of your mind from the euphoria of being around all these comic book characters. So that was mine.
We used to be a proper country.
Yeah, we
No,
used
no,
to.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're not doing Marvel Mania at Disneyland right now.
no, they
So
have
Oh
King's
no.
yeah.
Kitchen. You could get King's Kitchen a giant pretzel, but it's like I want Doctor Doom's beef bistro. That was That was when we were a proper country, but I think it only lasted like 4 years because of the
Yeah.
bankruptcy of Marvel.
Well, as I think I pointed out, it's also ironic that it took so long for this movie to be made because Fantastic Four are such foundational characters to the universe, like
Yeah.
even more so than the characters that we've already covered so much in the Marvel universe. It's like it's crazy that like it took so long. Like, you read any comic book, these characters pop up.
Hmm.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of going to the next topic, talking point of like what makes them so special because it's like they're the Marvel's first family and just like they're the first modern Marvel Universe characters introduced because they had Cap, they had Namor, but this is like the first iteration of like, okay, this is officially this universe. And yeah, to me, they're just kind of they're what makes Marvel so interesting and just they live in the Baxter building on this real street. They live in like a real neighborhood. They talk about real landmarks and they're also just like very of the time, like 60s. They're explorers, they're astronauts. They're different than the Avengers because they're superheroes, but then they're also like like if like superheroes also like went into other dimensions to not just like fight people, but to like discover like a different element or something just for the love of the game. So that's what makes them so interesting to me.
I also think, right out the gate, they just nailed that team dynamic that kind of became the template for everything
Hmm.
going forward. Um, like Sue Storm, Mr. Fantastic, The Thing, Human Torch, they're all characters that you could describe at length or in one word. Deceptively simple characters that have so much depth behind them. But also you kind of brought up how they were a springboard for so many other exciting stories. Like
Hmm.
Black Panther was introduced in Fantastic Four, the Inhumans were introduced in Fantastic Four, Namor, Galactus, the Silver
Yeah,
Surfer. Like you just had Stan Lee and Jack Kirby working at the height of their powers. And I think the stories kind of speak for themselves. So it's kind of a mix of characters are great, but also the story's really good and they work together beautifully.
yeah, yeah. Well said. Tyler, what do you love about these characters too?
Yeah, again, as James said, like they're also unique and deceptively very simple because there's a lot of depth and there's a lot of like nuance between them, but then you can also just recognize their outlines as well.
Yeah.
They're very much like classic comic book characters in that way. But um, I think one thing is they really are more than just superheroes because um their daily lives are very different. The way that they service their community is a lot different than
Hmm.
you would see, Spider-Man or the Avengers. So I think that's like they're kind of more in the sci-fi genre than a lot of other characters in the Marvel universe, and that gives them a unique flair, I think, also. But like the cheesiness is like the huge thing about these characters as well. Like you really have to have that cheese and that slice. Something like the 2015 film doesn't really like walk that balance.
Yeah.
But it really embraces like that like very Silver Age like corniness, and that's what we love about these characters as well, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff like when is introduced for like the 50th issue, and it's like just Jack Kirby, his ideas, like what if the Fantastic Four fight God? Like that's the basis of Galactus is like,
Yeah,
what if they just fight like a god, like literally just God? And yeah, that's just such interesting ideas that they're like springboarding, like Doctor Doom. Like I always love I don't know if it's like a Kirby. It might have been like a Kirby like idea, but like Doom, like he's a despot dictator, but he went to college with Reed, and also too, at least in Jack Kirby, he did a sketch. So this is in his version of the character. But like he wears the mask. He's not horribly scarred. He just has like a really tiny scar, like here in his face, and like he's so vain, he put on the mask to hide that. So like that's such interesting characterization, I would say.
I always loved that version of Doom
Mm,
where he's not horribly disfigured underneath. It's just mostly a pride thing.
yeah, yeah, it's like it's cool, and I think it's like some variations that they had. He had that scar, and then him molding the mask, or it was too hot, he puts it on, and that fucks up his face even more. So that causes
Hmm.
like the deformity. But yeah, Doom is amazing. Also, just the Reed and Doom dynamic, so good because they respect and also hate each other on the same level, or at least Doctor Doom does. I think Reed's
Hmm.
kind of like, I wish you just went away and stop bothering me and my family. But he's also the goddaughter to his child, so kind of weird.
We'll get into Doom.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, I personally think Jack Kirby could have done a better job if Doom was actually Tony Stark.
Oh
But
yeah, right.
now we're having that
Well,
fulfilled.
we'll see. We'll see. I don't. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. Just I love these characters. My favorite is Jonathan Hickman. His run is, I think, my favorite. But I think you need also to read like the original comics to kind of get there. But yeah,
Hmm.
I love like Valeria, one of my favorite characters. Franklin. So yeah, it's just good that they're also just a family too. That's like the thing too, right?
Yeah, it's so irritating in comics when they don't allow the characters to progress and age in a
Hmm.
way, but Fantastic Four has kind of been immune to that, where they do
Yeah.
kind of get to be ongoing
Hmm.
characters rather than just static. Okay, at the end of this arc, they're going to get reset.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Or they won't stay married, or Mephisto comes and dissolves their marriage. Like they've been
Hmm.
pretty consistent. Like, there's like stuff where it's like Franklin's how old? Or it's like they got married when, or like, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
But yeah, it more or less makes sense. And then also too, like these are such interesting characters, but most recently, as in like the last 10 years, they kind of got diminished because of the Fox Disney sort of competition, and then kind of reintroduced with the merger. So I don't know how you guys kind of felt reading that as comic book fans. That was really disappointing, I would say.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Growing up as a kid and watching the 2005 movie and Silver Surfer, which I both have a super soft spot in my heart, I would have never thought that those were movies that tarnished the brand. Um, but and usually I'm one of those people who I want multiple different studios to have access to these characters so that it's not such a homogenized tone.
Sure.
And I do think the Fantastic Four kind of open a gateway to use a lot of characters that wouldn't necessarily have to be MCU characters.
Mhm.
But regardless of my background, I'm very, very clear-eyed about the failure of Fant Four Stick back in
Yeah,
2015. And
yeah.
as someone who was really looking forward to that movie, having
Mhm.
loved Chronicle so much and thinking that
Yeah,
they could do something really different, I think at that point it was like, all right, these rights need to go right back to Disney, and we need
yeah,
to get something going. That is
yeah,
not this. Whatever this was, do not do this.
yeah.
So,
Well, it's
before we get into anything with first steps, I'm glad it wasn't that.
Yeah, well, it's just like stuff where it's like I have pretty clear memories of that movie, and it's just like stuff where it's like, why is Mr. Fantastic like a body horror? Why is like the Thing like this depressed? Like, like, or like why is Doom like a part of the origin again? It's just such like we already seen this already.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, I also think, and I will elaborate this more later, but it
sure.
feels like, each Fantastic Four movie was a product of its time. And
Mhm.
it does feel like, for me, First Steps and where it all ends up total wise, like, it does kind of feel like, even though like it's crazy that it took forever for a Fantastic Four movie to be made in the MCU like this, it does kind of feel like it embodies this unique space that only comic book movies can exist now because audiences have known how the universe works, and they've known things about more comic books, and I feel very similar about Superman.
Hmm.
It feels like this could only be attempted now in the way that it is because the genre has grown and so has the audience. And so that's probably a byproduct of this being mainstream culture now as well. It's that like this could easily go down people's throats than like something back then where they really had to like change things to ground it in reality for people. It just feels a little different when the MCU took care of it.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that more later for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, I guess I'm glad that Tim Rothman and all the Fox people don't have it. But I guess Tim Rothman's at Sony, so you know, it would have been someone else.
We saw him talk at CinemaCon, and
mm,
let me say, that guy, you'll understand why he's in the position he is as soon as you see him talk, because he is a riot on stage.
Yeah, pure aura, pure aura. Yeah.
well, what was he saying? Like, all right, in quarter 4, we're gonna get a margin of profit with these 10 Poole movies, and we have these franchises of Planet of the Apes and I forgot the Avatar. Aren't you guys excited?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's a real like bastion of confidence for sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
but for steps, we could get right into it. Before we like talk about like how we enjoyed the movie, what was your anticipation going into the film? Did it feel different than any other recent MCU movie? I know we've been kind of up and down again and up again. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. Going into it, as soon as they released that first look image, I believe for Valentine's Day, that was hand
Mm,
drawn. I kind of knew that we were going in the right direction, and marketing wise, it seemed like they were hitting all the right notes. A lot of tender love and care was put into the run up to this movie. And I think in the final product, there's still a lot of tender love and care there as well. Um, so I would say for the first time in a while, this one didn't really sound any alarm bells for me. It felt like they were really genuinely adapting that Stan Lee and Jack Kirby spirit to the film. And I think they hit all the right notes going into this, and I was super, super excited going in. Perhaps not as excited as I would have been had Superman not just blown me away a couple weeks ago.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, but still going in with a lot higher spirits than I've been going into these superhero movies with lately.
Yeah. I mean, it got you more excited than like Quantumania or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Tyler, did you feel any hopium for Fantastic
uh,
Four?
I was super writing the whole like just like I mean I the marketing has just really been great, and I think they really nailed the tone when they first showed us like even the footage at Comic-Con and everything like that. So I knew that this was like aesthetically heading in the right direction for me and hitting those notes. There is with every Marvel movie, I still have apprehension, like just to keep
Mhm.
myself safe, really. I mean, we've been burned a lot of times before. And yeah, I think as James mentioned, like we just got out of Superman, which is so singular and so like singular of a vision artistically that like my expectations were a little bit lowered. But I mean I knew that like it wasn't going to be as good as Superman. So going into that I had that feeling, but I was like I knew that it would be a positive experience, I think,
Mhm.
and for the most part yeah I was right about that. So
Yeah, no, it seemed like it was going in the right direction, and also just kind of like, yeah, like the casting, because it's like I feel like we went through so many iterations and so many fan casts, that like people were like, who was it like? What was a popular one? It was like the Doctor. Who's that one Doctor from Doctor Who was Reed, and like, uh,
Oh,
Margaret
David Tennant,
David
right?
Tennant,
hmm
yeah, Margot Robbie,
hmm
Mhm.
Sue, Diva Diggs is the thing, and I forgot
yeah
who's Johnny, but this was like yeah, it felt like it was like, oh, this is the official thing, and then it was like, nope, it's actually Pedro, Vanessa, Kirby, Joe. I can't pronounce his name, so I'm not gonna say it. And then the guy from the Bear. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's such a good stacked cast, right?
Yeah, it's been a long time running for this movie. I mean, like,
Mhm.
we've been through so many iterations in fan cast and everything like that. Like, even
John
the MCU, like,
Krasinski,
referencing, yeah, with John
yeah,
Krasinski
that
in
was
Multiverse of
wild.
Madness. Yeah. I don't know if John Krasinski would work for me personally, but I'm glad he was just kind of like torn to bits. But I'm a huge Pedro fan. Been so forever.
Mhm.
So I was apprehensive at first, just because like I didn't want him to be stuck into the Marvel machine.
Yeah.
Um, but I've accepted it now, and I'm like, I'm just excited for his take. Vanessa Kirby, I've loved forever. And like I knew Ebon would have been really great. He's
Mhm.
great on the bear. Like I
Cousin,
feel like
yeah,
yeah, his energy just like feels right for the thing.
it does.
Um,
Yeah. Did you guys see the clip where he's like goes into the press room? He's like, "What's up, influencers?"
what's up, influencers? Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, it
Love
did.
him. Love him for that.
Yeah. Um,
ready to critically review this movie based on journalistic integrity and
no, for real.
any background and college experience you have. Oh no, okay, never mind.
Nope.
Do some dances about Mr. Fantastic from Marvel Rivals. All right, there you go. Sorry.
The only one who was apprehensive at first was Joseph Quinn, and that's
Mm,
just because like I've really only seen him in Stranger Things, and like I feel like the big Joseph Quinn machine has really like exploded in a way that was really fast, and it was just like, and nothing against him, but it's also just like I don't think I see it yet. But we'll get into that. I mean, I actually thought he really impressed me for sure.
yeah,
As just yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd second that. I think while I we'll get into it a little later, my thoughts are a little more mixed on the film. I don't think any of that is due to the core cast. I mean, Pedro Pascal kind of blew me out of the water as Reed. Like
Mm,
he has such an interiority to him while also being so recognizably the character for the comics. And I think the same goes for Vanessa Kirby, who I think the script kind of fails in some ways in terms of characterizing her, but she makes a meal out of it. She
Hmm.
refuses to just be the traditional Marvel heroine who's kind of shoved off to the side. She is the soul of the film. Her and Reed are, and while I wish I got more of the thing in the Human Torch, I really couldn't have pictured it any other way. It's
Hmm.
funny you bring up Joseph Quinn because he was a big sticking point for me until we saw that footage at CinemaCon where he's kind of giving Reed some shit, and I was like,
Hmm.
okay, maybe this could work. And I'm
Hmm.
I'm happy to say that him and his little language side quest in this movie
mm,
were total classic Johnny. So I think
mhm.
if you're looking to build a franchise around a set of actors, you really couldn't do any better than this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, Although I am kind of interested to see the alternate universe where Margot Robbie might have been Sue
So
Storm.
yeah,
I think that could have been interesting. Would have been very different. But I can kind of see it as vividly as I do with Vanessa Kirby.
yeah,
Um,
Hmm.
yeah. Because she's such a because Sue like in the comics. I mean, like she's so like strong, and then she's the co-leader, but then she's also like like the mom and like her. We'll get to it later, but her like just basically force filling the fuck out of Galactus was like, okay,
mhm,
this is the character because she's also like the strongest character on the team.
Yeah.
People
yes.
forget about that.
One more thing on like casting is just like for me, I think Vanessa hit all the notes for me because like I feel like in the past, like, yes, there's these things that we know about Sue, that she's just as intelligent as Reed, that she's like a
Mm,
leader, just as much
yeah.
as a leader, but like, I feel like very little like iterations of her in the mainstream culture are we allowed to like see that. And like Vanessa really like is a commanding force in Um, Sue's unfortunately just been a very sexualized character also
Right.
throughout the
Yeah.
times. It's like, and
Like,
Vanessa like very much
yeah.
rides that balance of her. Like, yes, like she is beautiful, but
Mm,
she's a mother, but there's also so much more to her. She
yeah.
refuses to be put in that box, as James said. And like for me, like
Yeah.
she's the sticking point of the whole cast. But
Hmm.
I mean, I love everyone as just as much. And
Yeah.
with Pedro as Reed, I really got this like I loved his inner torment that I think that is
Hmm.
forgotten about Reed sometimes is that he's
World's
like
smartest man.
smartest man, but that also makes him emotionally cold as well.
Hmm.
And he's
Yeah.
trying to work that through. And so Sue and Vanessa,
Well,
the way that that Pedro and Vanessa work together as a couple, and like Vanessa really gets that emotional core out of him. They're just like electric on screen. It's amazing to watch.
yeah. No, it really is because it's just like yeah, just seeing them like interact and they're clearly in love, but it's like stuff where it's like, like the strain on their relationship of like just reconsidering all the options because he just has to because he's that intelligent, has so much strain on their relationship. And that's really interesting. I was gonna say if you guys ever saw a cartoon called The Venture Brothers, and they have a Fantastic Four parody, The Impossible. Has anyone seen that? No?
No.
No,
Oh, okay.
that is like the highest thing on my list because
Ah,
everyone's told me it would
it's
totally be
amazing.
entirely my kind of show.
It's yeah, you would love it, but yeah, Stephen Colbert voices their version of Reed Richards. It's interesting.
It's perfect.
Um, yeah, but yeah, no, I guess the movie. What were your thoughts? Like, what can you say about this film just off the top of your head? Because I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was kind of very like tight in terms of editing, and so much shit fucking happens all at once without like any almost like not filler, but like any sort of like little like those little like Lego pieces that go between the giant builds and they connect it. They're just like I felt like sometimes the movie just feels like just giant Legos bashed together sometimes.
Yeah. I really liked the film. I've seen it twice now, and first time was at the critic screening, and I feel like critically everybody really like all the critics that I watched it with, we all really vibed with it.
Hmm.
And it's interesting conversation because I feel like it has not landed the same with mainstream audiences. Um, and yeah, it's kind of curious why. My second time I watched it, I did see a lot of more holes into it, but I think the foundation of the movie is really strong enough that it carried me through all of that.
Yeah.
But in the end, I really landed on just like the ambition and for what this movie does. Like thematic wise, it's really stuff that I don't really see often in superhero movies, and so that's why
Hmm.
I'm willing to give it the credit of like I just enjoyed what it was doing enough before some stuff in the third act is not as tight and James has a little bit more of a mixed opinion, so
Yeah.
I'll
I
leave it to
was
that. Yeah.
yeah, but no, that's well said. I mean, yeah, like that's kind of how I was feeling. It wasn't the best film, but certainly I don't know, did enough of the job, right?
Yeah.
Just between us. But I want to hear James's hot take or
Yeah,
not.
so to preface,
Uh,
I will say I 100% why understand why you love it, Tyler, and why other people love it. I mean, there's certainly a lot to like here. I think the aesthetic, they nailed it, the cast, they nailed it, but I feel like it's almost a movie that holds me at arm's length in a way. I feel like so much in the first and third acts are gutted that I feel like I can see the holes there, and it kind of led to a messy experience for me. Um, there's a stretch in the middle of the movie, from when they go out to space to when some transporters get wrecked that I thought it was perfect. They were doing
Hmm.
it was allowed to breathe. They nailed everything they needed to nail, but unfortunately everything that comes before and after that I felt was really rushed, and really kind of assumes a familiarity with these characters that I don't really think is there for modern audiences. I mean, yeah, we know the 2005 versions of these characters because for
Hmm.
some reason, because they were weirdly culturally prominent. um but I feel like this movie throws you into this Jack Kirby Stan Lee world and assumes that you know everything, and
Mm.
especially with that first act, jumping past all those earlier adventures. I don't necessarily need to see the origin, but I needed to see them work together on a smaller mission before we jump off the edge there. It's kind of a miss for me, but I think it's an admirable miss that I'm not willing to just kind of throw out in the garbage and
Hmm.
say, another one is out for me. I think this movie is in dire need of them allowing them to release a director's cut and pay up the money for the visual effects, because what is on screen is great. It's just how it's arranged for me keeps me from truly connecting with it in the way I think I really wanted to.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, the critique that you made, that it just they want people, not what they want, but they just think people like know these comics, which not everyone does. Someone could just know it from, yeah, like
Yeah.
the 2005 movie, which, but yeah, those 100 first issues are amazing. But yeah, I mean, me as like a big comic nerd, I'm like, yeah, they showed the Red Ghost and there was a monkey. But like, so I don't know what the general audience thinks of like Red Ghost. Well, I mean, he wasn't in the movie, but like the
Yeah.
monkeys or whatever, they're like, okay, he's just, is it like Reed just kicking a monkey just for
Yeah.
shits and giggles, you know? Like I were
I,
like, you know, they're like, oh, the Silver Surfer, you know, he's has a surf, like what? Yeah, or Galactus, he's not a clap, which I guess, you know, that's good.
he's not a
But
cloud. Yeah.
yeah, thank God. But
I love imagining a universe where some kid was so obsessed with the Rise of the Silver Surfer version and then sees this movie and is like, "What the hell, man? What they do to
What is what's this
yeah,
bullshit?
it was what? Yeah,
um,
yeah.
so I think your take is James, it's actually I've been talking about this movie for a lot for I feel like a lot of people have been divided actually. So
Mhm,
I think your take is totally fair. And I see the criticisms. I actually see the holes as well. So
mhm,
on the second time, I definitely feel like it was a more rougher experience. Um, and I think my ultimate argument for why it works for me is that I think like even though it does get to some messy places,
Mhm.
I've also seen these movies do a lot worse when it
Mhm.
comes to like the character work just being all over the place. And so, even if things feel like a little bit cut to the essentials sometimes, and like even when the third act is a little bit like not into the into what I want it to be, at least it's like very focused on its characters the entire time.
mhm,
Mm.
Um, I just like think of the third act Marvel like beams in the sky or just like lasers and like them like fighting their problems but not necessarily addressing them. Um, but the third act is still at least like them focusing on taking care of Franklin and working as a
mhm,
group. And so that at least like for me emotionally it all lands in the right place, even if it was a little bit more rocky to get there.
Mm.
Um, as you said, the part where they're going to space and then everything in between that, oh my God, I love that stuff. I think
Yeah,
that
it's
stuff
awesome.
actually is what carries the movie so much for me, where I was just like,
yes,
there's not a sequence like Sue giving birth in the middle of the black hole sequence. You know, it's
Yeah,
like and that like I just
so
like I was so like in awe of like that the
so
first of all the visuals, but also just like the willingness to like have quiet moments like this, and it feels epic, but it feels grand, but it's also so personal.
mhm.
Um, and that's kind of like what ties the movie's tone for me is like yes, they're saving the galaxy, but it's also such a personal affair at the same time. That made like the drama of the movie really land for me in a place that like was like, oh, well, I think this is unique in a way that other super movies don't feel, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
so for me, it's like the good stuff really lands, but I also understand like, yeah, I did feel it was weird sometimes watching the intro of the movie. Like, there's clearly stuff that was like cut that feels like more daily life stuff,
Mhm.
and I think it would have worked really well if they actually kept it in.
Yeah,
I'm not
like
sure what response and why they did that. But yeah.
I guess could have been timing. Like I really wanted to see the Thing and the Natasha Lyonne character. I forgot her name. I think it was like Roz.
Her name's Rachel.
Oh,
Rachel,
Rachel.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking it was like Jack Kirby's wife at the same. Okay.
Hmm.
But yeah, like yeah, seeing them interact, that was really like cool. And then just kind of like, they go to synagogue, like as like the end of the world is happening. It's just like that was like one of the nicer moments of the movie, just kind of like seeing like how the Thing, like, some people accept who the Thing was.
Yeah, it is funny that you bring up the Natasha Lyonne character because that's kind of the one of the points where I can pinpoint kind of an overzealous edit. Because
Yeah.
in that scene where the Thing goes in to see her, um, she asks a question, something to the effect, are you here for spiritual guidance? And he says, I forget what he responds, but it's like mid-reaction that Natasha Lyonne has. They just cut away from the scene. It's done.
You never hear
Done.
it.
You're
She's like,
never seeing the
okay,
Yeah,
character again.
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. That was kind of
So
like,
yeah, it's kind of a frustrating criticism I have because it's like, man, I love so much of what's in here. It's like, just show it to me. Just show it to me. Let me breathe a
mhm,
little bit. Because that great
Hmm.
section of the movie, that space section that I think we're all in agreement that we love, um, is great because they do allow it to breathe. It's such a
Hmm.
fun, like, um, a fun, well-developed adventure.
mhm. Yeah, it really was. Like, what other movie would have like a burst sequence in a black hole?
Hmm.
Right? Like that's
Yeah.
awesome. What did you guys think of Galactus first time actually being adapted, and then also the Silver Surfer?
Yeah. So I'll start off with Silver Surfer. So I don't know a whole lot about the Shalabal version of the character, and from what I gather, this wasn't necessarily like super close to that. It was more kind of like a adaptation of Norrin Rad. I'm just using the Shalabal name. But I
Hmm.
think Julia Garner was fantastic. I have no issue with what she did there. I think to emote beyond a kind of very stoic form, like the form of the Silver Surfer, is not easy to do, and I think she really did truly make an impression on me. Again, I wanted a lot more out of
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
but at the same time, I'm not gonna look at her mean mugging, like riding through the side of a black hole and not crack a little smile to
Yeah,
myself.
it's tough.
Um, like I thought she was definitely a pretty badass character, and I think she did a good job. But with Galactus,
Mm,
his first
Devourer.
scene, his first scene, absolutely loved, especially when it's all dark. You just see his glowing eyes. The Fantastic Four look like an ant
Bugs.
compared to an ant.
Yeah, he calls them bugs. Other
Mhm.
bugs.
So I love that, but whenever they brought him to Earth and we see him in the daylight and he's not quite as big as I thought he would be,
Hmm.
um, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like with Galactus, you got to get a little funkier with the visuals to really
Mm.
sell it. No shade here to Ralph Ineson, who I think did a phenomenal job with what he was given. But I think there was a more interesting kind of not philosophical but cosmic way to do Galactus they started off doing that they kind of just turned into a big
Godzilla.
kaiju for them to
Yeah,
find to
yeah.
fight at the
Hmm.
end.
Because yeah, I mean, I would love to have seen like the ultimate nullifier, or like his, more of his ship, or he uses
Hmm.
sometimes like the ship to drain the planet before he devours it. And yeah, I felt like that was missing a little bit, but I did like the scale of Galactus, just the fact like when he just like yeets the thing into space, just like he's that like strong. Because yeah,
Hmm.
he's literally like a god, you know. I was gonna say it's kind of like how the Celestials were in Eternals, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Actually, funny thing, did you guys get to see this in IMAX, like an
Oh, I was
immature
gonna
IMAX
say,
theater?
yeah, I saw
Yes.
it at City
Yeah,
Block IMAX. It was
yeah.
amazing.
So the only other movie to fill the whole ratio, I think it's like 1.851 or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, the only other movie in the MCU to do that was Eternals, whenever Celestial was on
Oh,
screen. So, a nice little parallel there. Like the Galactus is like whatever Galactus is on screen in the movie, they fill the entire IMAX screen. I think it's just like the scale that really sold the scale for me in
yeah.
a way that was like wow. And then like when he opens his eyes for the first time, and you can see like oh my God, it's such an incredible scene. Yeah, I thought Ralph's presence as Galactus was amazing. But yeah, it did feel a little bit like there was something to be desired with his presence in the third act. I think clearly that there's more to do with the character. That's why like they just shoved him into a portal.
Right. Yeah. At least they
Um,
didn't kill him off, right?
yeah,
They kill off so
For
many like
sure.
Marvel characters now.
yeah. So I just think there seems to be more, and that's why we ultimately got the version that we got in the film. Um, when it comes to Shell Up All, I thought like Julia Garner's like presence is amazing, and she like her lines are already iconic. They're like a
Hmm.
meme right now.
Yeah. I saw that. Saw it on TikTok.
Yeah. People are already really responding to that, and I loved her relationship with Johnny. I thought that stuff really like sung for me.
Hmm.
And Johnny's like curiosity to like reach out to her. There's kind of like an attractive like romance situation, but there's also just like a need to connect from Johnny
Right.
that's like so compelling for me.
Yeah.
It feels
John
like classic, it feels like a classic Johnny story, as you said, but it's
does.
like
Yeah.
what people don't understand about Johnny sometimes is that he's also just as curious as the other
Hmm.
three.
Yeah, because
Um,
he is an astronaut too, or a pilot.
yeah,
Yeah, he is kind of, like he's just like a cad, or he's
yeah,
just he does dumb stuff sometimes.
and the it shows like his recklessness. Like he'll go to space, he'll go to the outer reaches of space to chase this girl.
Hmm.
But it is great that like I don't know. And there is like a little bit like the movie does kind of want you to connect the dots a little bit when they kind of reveal her motivations and when
Right.
she comes into the third act like it's a very sudden scene. Um, Ultimately, it's one of those things in the moment I'm never thinking about it that much, but it's something in retrospect that really sticks out to you. So
Yeah.
it's a kind of like a mileage thing. It didn't bother me like when I'm watching the film, and ultimately I feel like that's what matters more than just like kind of retrospective
Hmm.
nitpicking.
Mhm.
But yeah, it feels like there should be a little bit more when we're trying to like connect the dots of her motivations and how she gets to the places where she does at the end of the film, for sure.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like
Yeah.
just it's like Spark Notes almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, she's also pretty much Norrin Rad because it's like, you saw the weird online grifters, like, people like John Campier or someone where they're like, why is this like I thought he was a male Silver Surfer? It's like, well, it's Earth 3 8 was it Earth 828. So it's
828.
yeah, you correct.
Mhm.
One
Yeah.
one number off from Krasinski. That's
Yeah.
how it
Yeah.
We
is.
were that close. We were that
It's also Jack
close.
Kirby's birthday. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Love that.
Happy early
Yeah.
birthday, Jack Kirby, the true king of comics. But yeah, kind of, I guess going off of that, how did you like how this Earth was kind of like neo-futuristic, but then also like really 60s, but then also not? Like, did that
Oh
work for you?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, zero complaints about the aesthetic. The aesthetic they took here, especially, all those computers that are just almost like little bubbles, and
Hmm.
the spaceship looked awesome. It kind of felt like they were like, okay, well, we can't set this in the 60s necessarily, but we can kind of recreate this and
Yeah.
by making it its own universe. And I think this is really the closest we've gotten um, to seeing Jack Kirby's artwork and his vision of New York
Hmm.
brought to the screen. And I'm usually I always hear things compared to Jack Kirby, and it never really
Yeah.
looks like that.
Like
But
some
no.
Taika movie, they're like, oh, this looks like Jack Kirby, and then like, no, this looks like Jack
Oh
Kirby. Shut
man.
up, Taika stans.
please.
Yeah,
Um, but no, yeah, it nailed it. Nailed it. Looks great. I mean,
yeah,
I'm even smiling just thinking about
mhm.
how this movie looks because it
Yeah,
looks phenomenal all the way through.
it's like Star Trek or like Tomorrowland from if you ever been to like a Disneyland or something, or Disney
Hmm.
World.
Yeah, they actually play a song from the People Mover, from
Oh,
the Disneyland People
do
Mover
they? Oh, I
in the
missed that.
movie. Yeah,
I missed that.
my theme park brain caught it. I was like, woof.
No, no, I
Yeah.
love it. Love it.
Yeah, I dig everything this movie was doing aesthetically. That's like also like I think it is probably definitively the most gorgeous MCU flick to date, probably. Um, I also really like how Eternals looks, but that's kind of an unpopular opinion.
Yeah, I like it. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Eternal
I think
City
Uh,
Eternals
kind of
looks good
fluff.
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Hell yeah. Virtual high
But
five.
for yeah, for all of us. But from a pure production design standpoint, like I mean, like I don't think any MCU movie has come close to this when it comes to like the pure amount of detail, um, the way that it immerses you into the world, just like in the practicality and like even like the ship was a miniature, like
Mm-hmm. That was
and like
awesome.
Wow.
I love
obviously they
miniatures.
CG'd over it, so like you can't really tell in the moment, but just like the fact that they went to the lengths to do it, um, shows
Mhm.
like there is a physicality to the world that like is often very lost in these movies. And geez, I mean, I'm so happy that they didn't destroy the universe, which was like the
Mm-hmm.
number one fear going to this
Yeah, it's
movie.
like, yeah.
If we have the opportunity to explore it more in sequels, like please, we need to take it.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd go a step further and say if they are really looking to soft reboot this whole Marvel Cinematic Universe industrial complex, make
Yeah,
this the world that we're set in.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It'd be more interesting, I would say.
Well,
'Cause-
actually, that's another note for me. It's I was so refreshed by how unmilitaristic everything in
Yes.
this movie
Yeah.
is, which is like
Yeah.
such a like, oh my God, it's such a breath of fresh air. Like
Yeah.
even the costumes, even like what
Mhm.
the characters are doing on a day-to-day
Yeah.
basis. It's like
And
it's not the government. They're just
yeah,
like,
they're just, yeah, Future
heroes.
Foundation.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, because MCU still like MCU, but it's so militaristic, so militarized.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, kind of winding down here. You guys want to talk about where it's like full on spoilers? The after credits with Doctor Doom, because I guess we see those that was Robert Downey Jr. So I guess we saw him. We saw the back of his head of
Was
his
it
head.
actually him?
That
Is
was
that
him. Yep.
confirmed?
Yes.
Wow.
That's what they're
It,
saying at
it's
least.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Wasn't his body double?
Um, that credit scene, I'll say this. It is really nice that when Party City went out of business, they allowed the Russos to have a Doctor Doom costume. That was really, really nice of them.
Yeah.
No, I think just like that Thunderbolts credit scene, I think it's such a hard swerve from the tone that came before and the filmmaking that came before that I think I'm just happier if I pretend that scene doesn't
Yeah,
exist.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Someone said
now
imagine like being on set as was it Matt Shakeman or the other guy, and it's like if like someone's like has your wife and you see your wife cheating on you with someone, you know, it's like seeing the Russos direct that movie.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, I agree. The air was kind of sucked out of the
Yeah,
theater, basically. I mean, there's people that were more bought into the Doomsday stuff, and they were happy and they were gasping. But I just got this like sense of just like dread, just like because like the Thunderbolt scene, it's like luckily there's not enough characters in the scene to really feel that way. But in the Thunderbolt
Mhm.
scene, like immediately everybody's written in a very different way that's more simplified and like less nuanced.
hmm,
And I just like don't want to see that. I don't want to see this version of the characters be like bastardized for like
yeah,
the Avengers.
yeah,
Um,
Mhm.
that's actually like such a sticking point for this movie. It's like I love this movie. I love everything it does with the Fantastic Four, but it's like not having a Doom have a relationship with Reed Richards
as
or
far as we know,
anyone.
it's yeah,
I mean, I guess
yeah.
they can retcon that, but it's also just like I don't know. It's just
Oh,
like
They had Latveria to see was open.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah, it
know.
was part of the Future Foundation. Like it was part of that. Yeah. Um,
Hmm.
but as we know, there's no like relationship between these characters, and it's like even if they do that, they really have to work hard to buy that. But it's also like they have so many characters, so it's like, what's the time? I
Hmm.
don't know. I think we're all pretty exhausted when it
Yeah.
comes to
Yeah.
the Avengers movies, and it's like I think rushing it into the next phase like that is such a mistake. Uh,
Yeah.
Especially when we just grown to love these characters, and it's I felt that way about Thunderbolts too. It's like
Hmm.
as much as I like what's happening here, it's like a foreboding thing that's just like, oh well, Doomsday's around the corner. How are they gonna like change this? Are we gonna get a cohesive trilogy? Like, is it something that's gonna happen? No,
Hmm.
probably not, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
No, the best we could hope for is like the Wolverine trilogy or something.
yeah.
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 Different
I do.
timelines in between movies, different eras.
It is really funny that you brought up that Latveria Easter egg because there's almost like a version of all this going into Doomsday where it might have worked for me. Like, how fun would it have been as a surprise if Victor Von Doom was in this movie, but
Yeah.
not played by Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
And then the credit scene, because we see that Franklin is touching his face. Like if they had clarified that, okay, Doom is going to be developed in this move in first steps, and then he's going to go on to Doomsday and jack Tony Stark's face to trick the main MCU or something like that.
Right.
That would
Hmm.
have maybe it wouldn't have fit, the way more dignified storytelling here in first steps, but it would have been at least given me something to latch onto going into Doomsday because we're nearly a year out and I still don't feel like they even know what they're doing there. And it's
Yeah.
unfortunate to have,
How
two of
could you feel
the
that way? They haven't finished the script. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was really funny how Kevin Feige did that interview where he's like, "Oh, we always go in with the script. I'm just not happy with it." And then immediately the day afterwards, it's like Rebecca Romaine says, "Oh no, they don't have a third act for Doomsday."
And then the Marvel snipers were like shh, shh, locked and
Yep.
loaded for Rebecca Romijn.
Yeah. That being said, I am excited. I am excited. I will be there.
Yeah, same.
If all this superhero movie stuff has to go out the window, I'd rather it go out in a brilliant brilliant sloppy explosion.
Yeah, brilliant mess, right? Yeah. Well, we'll see. At
For
least
the
we'll see
directors
like
of the Electric State.
yeah,
Yes.
we'll see the Fantastic Four interact with the X-Men. Old Charles Patrick Stewart frail in that chair meeting Reed Richards. It'd be cool enough,
I, I hope they're paying that man well. I really
Yeah,
do.
I hope so. He
Yeah.
looks so frail in Multiverse of Madness, poor guy.
They're holding our family hostage. They're
I
holding our
know.
cast hostage. It's
Yeah,
it's
90, yeah,
yeah.
and then 90-year-old Ian McKellen on set too. He's like,
For
what? What
real.
is this? What's the Celestial? What's Galactus? Poor guy. But I guess this has been a really fun recording, guys. Any final thoughts or anything you want to like promote or something as we take us out?
Yeah, so final thoughts, I think kind of hearing Tyler's enthusiasm for this movie makes me like it a little more. I think I'm kind of arrived somewhere I'm like, yeah, it's good. It's good. It's
Hmm.
not what I
Yeah.
wanted it to be, but
Yeah.
I still think it's damn decent for what it's trying to do. And compared to the last 5 or so years of Marvel, my precious babies Thunderbolts and Multiverse of Madness notwithstanding, I think that this is a big leap in the right direction. I just really hope that we get a proper follow up after the hopefully Doomsday doesn't tank the prospect of another one of these.
Hmm.
Um, in terms of stuff I want to promote, just follow me on Twitter or X at James P. Poole. And try to stay followed to me for more than 2 days. It's very, very difficult. I have a lot of very bad takes.
No, you know what? I don't know anyone else who likes the movie Let's Go to Prison. So, that's That's a good tape. Right
Exactly.
there. Yeah, great Comedy Central, 3 p.m. afternoon Thursday movie.
Oh yeah.
Your takes are what give you personality, James.
Yeah, exactly.
No, nobody wants to follow somebody who just has the same
Boring.
opinions
It's
on
boring.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love the ambition of this movie. On second watch, I feel like there are things that could be cleaned up. Um, I agree with James. I would love to see them do a director's cut. Ultimately, like I think they said that that's not really in the picture for them right now. But and then I know Marvel, they're pretty much like if they make a mistake, they'll sweep it under their rug. You know.
Yeah.
But I hope they take the ambition, and I hope they don't veer away from like cutting the movie to its bone next time. I think there's a potential for an even better movie with the Fantastic Four in the future. And so that's like what's exciting for me. I'm just as a fan though, like I'm just happy to have like good iterations of these characters that I can point to and just be like, oh, well, that's why I like this. It's like it's gratifying after such a long time in the Fox Marvel
Mhm.
hellhole. But yeah, I liked it. I have high expectations for the next one, and I hope Doomsday doesn't ruin everything. So that's
Same.
my final thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm also on Twitter, Tyler Liu Taing, which is Taing is my last name, so you can spell that.
Mhm.
You'll have that linked and everything like that. So
Yep. We'll put it in
um,
the description.
yeah, you can follow my writing. I think I'm trying to do a Substack soon, so
Mhm.
we'll see if we could that follow through for that. But yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to subscribe to it. But yeah, thanks guys for being on. It was really cool to hear your thoughts. It's good to Tyler to have you on for the first time, James to have you back. It's always good talking to you both in real life and then also recording you through Zoom for the podcast. But you could find me on Twitter, Gene9892, on Instagram as well. We're at the Waffle Press on Twitter, at the Waffle Press Podcast on Instagram. We're on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe. If you don't like it, like anyway. And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We've been professionally unprofessional.